Hey guys, let me see if I can come into the light a little bit more. Get some more light up in here. So I came from the rally. I guess maybe it's like here we go. Came from the rally, NoDAPL, to protest Donald Tiny Hands' executive order to tell the native peoples to go pound sand. That he does not care. He does not care about the EPA. He does not care about carbon pollution. I don't know if a lot of people know, and feel free to correct me if my science is wrong. I welcome that. But not only does carbon go up into the atmosphere and trap heat, but it also buries that, or rather, that carbon gets buried into our oceans. At that point, it turns into carbonic acid, the same type of acid in your soda, if I recall. Carbonic acid. And so it causes the oceans to become a little bit more acidic. Why may that be a problem? Well, 90% of our oxygen comes from the ocean. That sounds like that could be a big problem, making things difficult to survive in the ocean. And then, with fracking wells notoriously leak methane. There's a lot of burn off. I'm not sure exactly how the burn off adds to it, but from my understanding, with methane going into the atmosphere, it's a precursor to ozone as it mixes with sunlight, as it mixes with the UV radiation, as it mixes with. I should look this up a little bit more so I'm more up to speed on it, but I do understand that it is a precursor to ozone. Ozone, if we don't have terrible air quality days here in the winter because of inversion, in the summer, our terrible air quality days are high ozone days. Boo. And so we have lots of fracking wells going on in Vernal. Why do I know this? Because I worked for Halliburton. I worked for the oil company. I feel like I have a good understanding of the working class. I do not hate workers. I may not like Halliburton. I did not even agree with Halliburton when I worked for them. But I don't need to necessarily agree with them if I'm going to feed my family. It's a very terrible Sophie's choice that American workers have been given. If you want to make a good living, well, sometimes you got to work for terrible people, and that's incredibly unfortunate. We should not be put in this Sophie's choice position. I don't understand how we give into multinational corporations. I did have a little bit of throwing up in my mouth moments working for Halliburton, in that when Dick Cheney was the CEO and we went to war with Iraq, Halliburton's stock went up. They made about $39 billion. That's a lot of dough for a private company, because we went to war for oil. We went to war for Halliburton. And, let me think. I seem to recall that recently we have a president who has a lot of conflict of interest. We had some conflict of interest with the vice president, with George W. And we saw where that got us. So I wonder where these conflicts of interest are going to get us. And so NoDAPL is just part of a bigger picture. Human lives matter, guys. Human lives matter. Humans have an inherent value that should be valued above money and corporate greed. If you're going to be rich, be like Nick Hanauer. Follow Nick Hanauer, Hanauer. Look up his TED Talk. He's the guy, if I recall correctly, who originally submitted the $15 minimum wage idea to the New York Times. Nick Hanauer is a plutocrat, unrepentant, but he also is not a predatory plutocrat. So while I am looking to be a Justice Democrat, I likely would have to make a pledge where I would not accept money from Nick Hanauer. That's fine. As much as I love Nick Hanauer, if I have to sacrifice a small thing for a bigger cause, then you know what? I don't even want to give the impression of conflicts of interest. And so the fact that I'm willing to say that, and Donnie Tiny Hands is not, as the freaking president of the United States, is disgusting. And then where is freaking Jason Chaffetz? What the hell? Where's Chaffetz? Where's our watchdog, who's now the lapdog? What the hell, guys? Come on. Where are these other mechanisms that we set up in government in order to make sure that there isn't a drunkenness with power? This is exactly what our forefathers warned against. And so the energy that's put forth into the women's marches, these local marches throughout the cities, whether it be women's marches or I march with the U of U students for a better democratic society. We have some angry freaking people that need some good direction. Let's get some people freaking in office. Let's get some regular people voted into office. I was telling people about my wish to run for U.S. Senate today at the NoDAPL protest. You know, we went to the Wells Fargo building. Towards the end, I try to remain respectful. Throughout the entire time, I was yelling out. I was that guy who barked out and was the protester who was yelling out quite frequently. Tried to be kind of smart-assy and smart-alecky. And then at the end, at the Wells Fargo building, I was the guy who yelled out, "The armies of Saruman are marching! It is time to find the riders of Rohan and defeat this terrible foe." I also yelled up on the stage after the rally that the same mechanisms that allow for Flint, Michigan's water to be poisoned are the same mechanisms that allow our air to be poisoned, which ultimately comes down to corporate greed. Anyway, I'm an aggressive progressive. I don't see how these ideas are freaking radical. People have inherent value. I'm hoping to become a Justice Democrat. Well, I support the cause, so if they ask for help, I'm definitely going to help. But I'm hoping that I also can get some support from them. While I have an incredibly lofty idea, I think I have some good equity. I need some help in shaping my ideas. Look how terrible Donnie Tinyhands is. And look how amazing Kellyanne Conway is, as disgusting as she is. How amazing she has been in guiding a disgusting idea throughout the general election. So imagine what somebody can do with a sincere person and good ideas. So I definitely can use some help, guys. And I'm looking to represent all people. That's why it's important for me to go to rallies like this, to tell our freaking government that people freaking matter. In North Dakota, the fact that you even brought up a bill to be, or even bringing up a bill to allow yourselves to drive over protesters. Can you imagine what people would do if they said if you see somebody with a gun, you can drive over them? That would be a flagrant violation of the Second Amendment. And you want to violate my First Amendment by violating my right to protest, by putting my life in harm's way to run me over? What the hell, guys? Wake up. It's time to wake up. All right, thanks for listening. Love you guys. Bye.